Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing something that a lot of my subscribers have been wanting me to do for a very, very long time, and that is clean up the Trackhawk engine components and get them ready to build. So if you're new to the channel, don't know about this engine or the transmission, they came out of a completely burnt to the ground Trackhawk, and as you can see, there's still paint on the block, and really it didn't get the block hot enough. If the paint's still on there, we're still good. There was even no heating in any of the other stuff. The only thing that got way too hot was the supercharger lid, which it melted a little bit. So the supercharger lid is obviously, it's usable, but at the same time, you could order a new one. So what I'm gonna be doing, I warmed up the hot tank yesterday. I'm gonna take this over, put it in the hot tank, and then I have the whole pallet of all the other stuff, and I'll put as much as I can in the hot tank and get the cam and the crankshaft in the carb cleaner and just kind of go from there, get as much as I can in the solutions so they can start working their magic and cleaning these things up. So let's get these things loaded, let's get everything loaded in my truck. So I pulled the Trackhawk block out of the hot tank, and as you can see, there's still quite a few spots that need to stand there a little bit longer. It cleaned all of this up very, very nicely, but I'm gonna stick it back in. I actually put a front cover in there as well, and the oil pan really looks like it needs to stand there a little bit longer. So I thought I was gonna be able to put the 6.4 in today, but we'll stick this back in for another day. It actually cleaned it up quite a bit, but it just has a bunch of residual gasket material and stuff that I want to get rid of. Yesterday I put the Trackhawk block in the hot tank, and now what I'm doing today is I'm going to pull the Trackhawk block out, and then I'm going to put the SRT 6.4 liter block. I'm pretty sure that these are the exact same blocks. Put this in the hot tank. This was also a burned car, so it has all this goo and stuff. So I just really want to clean it up and pretty much get all this baked on goo off of there, so this thing can be usable again. But I mean, look at those cam bearings. They're just so nice. The main bearings were great. So and this car I think had like 25, I found out it had like 25 to 30,000 miles. Just got back from pulling the two Hemis out of the hot tank, and unfortunately the place I have access to, they changed the solution from the stuff that worked, which would pretty much clean anything, to some stuff that's aluminum friendly and environmentally friendly. And as you know, what happens when you go environmentally friendly, the stuff doesn't work anymore. So as you can see right here, we have both Hemis, and I have paint stripper on the paint, and it's not even stripping that. But to be 100% transparent, as you guys remember, this engine I think only had 3,000 miles. That one had like 30,000. So it's, the inside wasn't dirty, wasn't really dirty at all. The outside, you know, it still doesn't look great. So this is a BGE block, which is the same as a Hellcat Red Eye, and I believe the BGE they use on the Demon as well. That is just a 6.4 block, and you can tell the difference in the oranges, but it just is kind of disappointing that it didn't take any of the paint or any of that stuff off. It really didn't even clean, so there's a little bit of carbon buildup right there. I mean, not even that bad of carbon buildup. It didn't even clean that off. So it's really unfortunate. I need to find a place I'll be able to pretty much chemically strip these down 100%, because I want to recoat them and then just pretty much start off from square one and not really have to worry. I want to have them, you know, stripped down. I want to make sure that the decks are true. I want to make sure that the line hone is good, or the main caps are all in the same orientation, just because these were in a fire. And I also want to have a Magnaflux, and then I'll recoat them in probably, I don't know, probably the same oranges, maybe both in that color or that shade orange. That one's like a lighter orange. I really don't like it. That's a 6.4 over there. This is a 6.2. But yeah, I really just want to start off from square one and not have to worry about having any issues. Maybe has micro cracks from the fiber, or from the fire. And you know, I don't want to have, because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these. I might just end up rebuilding them as long blocks and then just selling them. And then, because I'm really planning on using the 426, and I really don't want to have to build a 426. I could just order one for about as much as I could build one for. So, and then, you know, I'll know it's good. They handle like 2,000 horsepower. Really don't have to worry about it. But then I could pretty much sell these as long blocks, 100% refreshed, and you know, not have them sitting around. I mean, it wouldn't be bad to have these sitting around, because you know, you can always use a Hemi for something. But yeah, I wish these would have got a little bit more clean than they did. It did pretty much clean just basic stuff. It didn't clean off the surface. You could still see some like head gasket material, and then in the back, this one got a little bit more clean. You can still see where there's a little bit of residue from the rear main seal plate, and that one over there as well. So other than the fire, I mean, you could tell it didn't even take off the paint from the factory when they marked everything after they torqued it. It just goes to show you how ineffective that solution is. So hopefully, you know, I'm going to start looking to find somebody that'll be able to chemically strip these, just kind of go from there. Also, another thing, I cleaned the oil pan, the valve cover, the front cover. So I ended up having to bead blast them because it wasn't cleaning them. The oil pan, unfortunately, and the valve cover I probably won't use, just because you can see that there's porosity throughout it. And you know, it wasn't a fire. It probably would be okay, but I really don't want to have to worry about it. So this is a Trackhawk oil pan, still has a Hellcat emblem, and then that valve cover has the same thing going on as this oil pan. It has a lot of porosity. The front cover, though, doesn't look like it has any issues. I bead blasted it, and then I ran it through the hot tank. The reason why you want to do that is because glass beads actually embed themselves in aluminum, and then when you run them through the hot tank, it opens the aluminum's pores up, and it lets those glass beads release back out, and then you don't have to worry about getting glass beads in your engine. A lot of machine shops glass bead everything, and then they do the same thing. They hot tank it, just like the heads on the LS over here. You can see, you actually might not be able to see it anymore. Actually, you can kind of see this is glass beaded right there. That face used to be a machine face. So it's just, it's probably because he glass beaded the ports. But I also still have the heads and the carburetor cleaner. I ran them through the hot tank, didn't do much. It cleaned them up a tiny bit. And then the carburetor cleaner will clean it up a lot more, but that stuff is also getting weak. It's really old and everything. So I'm really happy that this stuff is cleaned up, or most of the stuff's cleaned up. We have the crankshaft over here cleaned, camshaft, the camshaft, and then this cover I'm probably just gonna throw away. These are just a seal / baffle, and you just get a whole new seal with the baffles. So I'm gonna end the video here, and I wish these would have came out a little bit better, so I could have got them ready to take down to the machine shop and just kind of go through the process of them checking the decks, checking the line hone, you know, checking, magnafluxing it and checking and make sure there's no micro cracking. And then we could just, you know, start putting them back together and just kind of go from there. But I'll have to find a place to, I should be able to find a machine shop if they can chemically strip it, and then they could just go through all that process. And I also have the pistons and rods in that box for both 6.4 and 6.2, which will be really nice because there wasn't any damage. So I'm just gonna put new bearings in it and just pretty much refresh everything and all new seals, and we'll get the heads back on here, and then figure out what we're gonna do with both of these. Keep them, either sell them, do something with them, just so they're not kind of laying around. But if you like these videos, make sure to click that subscribe button, throw a thumbs up, throw a comment below. As always, see you guys next time.